It seems like the ceasefire deal is finalized, even though I would not be surprised if Hamas pulls out of it, trying to blame Israel. Regardless, ceasefire or no ceasefire, I want to address some confusion dealing with this whole ceasefire situation in Israel that many Israel supporters around the world are dealing with. Right now, Arabs in Gaza, Judea, Samaria, Israel, and the whole Middle East are celebrating this ceasefire, thinking that they beat Israel. For many people, that doesn't make sense. Gaza is in ruins. Their homes, communities, cities destroyed. Hamas decimated, even though we haven't yet been able to totally destroy them and get rid of them. But why are they celebrating? Here's why. And it's based on the fact that too many Israelis, Jews, and Westerners still do not understand our Islamo-Nazi enemies. They don't care about their lives. They don't care about their children being killed, their mothers being killed, their grandmothers being killed. They are proud to raise their children to be killers and martyrs, and also to use them as human shields for their terrorists. They don't care that their homes, communities, and cities are destroyed either. All they care about is killing Jews, taking our land, and destroying the Jewish state of Israel. That is their mission. Their ideology is religious. It's Islamic jihad. They celebrate because they think they've won. Forcing Israel to a ceasefire means that they have survived. They haven't lost Gaza, and they live to kill us another day. And that is victory in their eyes. Just listen to this Gaza mother herself say this today in Gaza.
ميلادنا ان شاء الله كل سنه راح يكون في 7 اكتوبر. مش هحدد لك التاريخ بس وعد من ام محروق قلبها كل سنه يا نتنياهو في 7 اكتوبر، وهذا باذن الله وعد من عند الله ومنصوري وباذن الله منصوري.
They believe that by them holding out against the big and strong Jewish state of Israel, to them, that's a win. They're able to kill us another day and have more October 7ths. To better understand this reality, listen to Brigitte Gabriel's explanation right now.
Exactly, and that's exactly why Hamas agreed to this deal. They know the wrath of Trump is coming if they did not go through with it. They don't underestimate him. They know exactly in their mind he's crazy. So they don't know what Trump will do, and that's exactly why they wanted to make sure they come to some sort of a deal before Trump takes office, because once Trump takes in office, he and Netanyahu will work together to really crush the Hamas and the Palestinians. Unfortunately, you are dealing with people who hold to the idea of revenge. It could take, they can wait another 50 years. They will avenge what happened in Gaza. So while we may not have any wars under Trump, as soon as Trump leaves, don't think that the Palestinians are going to be living happily ever after with the state of Israel by their side. It doesn't matter how many years pass by, you're going to see another October 7 unless Israel basically completely finishes off Hamas.
Too many Jews, Israelis, and Westerners still do not understand our reality. This is not just a fight about borders or politics. It's about Islamic jihad, a real and evil ideology that seeks to destroy Israel and ultimately all freedom-loving people and nations all over the world, all infidels, all non-Muslims. Our enemies have no other purpose but to destroy us. This is a religious war for them, and it's driven by Islam, followed by hundreds of millions of Muslims, that many in the West fail to comprehend what this is really about, because they must be like us. But understand, for us, this ceasefire, if it goes through, it's a pause. It is not the end of the war. It's inevitable that our Islamo-Nazi enemies will break this ceasefire. When that happens, we will return to Gaza, and we will be better situated to totally liberate Gaza for good and to never leave again. This is not a question of if it's going to happen, but when it's going to happen. And I hope it happens sooner than later.
כן, כאן בפאתי ג'באליה, לפני בית חנון, בית לאיה. ההרס ממשיך, אנחנו פה לא מוותרים. עד הסוף אנחנו לא מוותרים, לא יישאר לכם כלום. התחלתם עם העם הלא נכון. גם אם יהיה עסקה, אנחנו חוזרים לפה, משטחים אתכם. כאן חטיבת גבעתי, כן, נשטח אתכם עד הסוף, מה אתם חושבים? נצא לנוח כמה שבועות ונחזור לפה נחושים וחזקים ונשטח אתכם ונשמיד אתכם. התחלתם איתנו עם הבנות שלנו, זה נגמר.
I mentioned the historical perspective in a previous video. This is nothing new, this situation. This war against Islamic Jihad is not unique to Israel or to the world. Let me take you back again to America's early days. May 1786, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, then diplomats in Europe, met with Tripoli's Muslim ambassador to London. They asked him why were North African Muslim pirates attacking American ships when America had done nothing to provoke them. The Muslim ambassador of Tripoli's response was chilling. The raids were Muslim jihad against non-Muslims, infidels. Muslim pirates believed it was their duty to make war upon non-Muslims wherever they could be found, to enslave them as prisoners, and that every Muslim slain in battle was guaranteed paradise. That's jihad. The Americans had two choices: pay tribute or fight. Jefferson chose to fight, and he established the United States Navy to take on Islamic Jihad back in the 18th century. This isn't just Israel's fight. This is the same battle that Jefferson fought for America over 200 years ago. And it's a battle against a global threat to freedom and justice for all over the world. The fight we in Israel are fighting today in Gaza will only end when our enemies cry because they've lost everything they hope to gain, not when they celebrate their survival to kill us another day. As long as they celebrate, this war isn't over. It's just paused. Still, people are asking me, is this ceasefire good or bad? On the one hand, there is so much happiness about the freeing of whatever hostages we can free if the deal actually goes through. But at the same time, there is a lot of anger at Israel having to capitulate to demands of our Islamo-Nazi enemies that endanger Israel and all Israelis moving forward. And that also essentially stops us from being able to defeat Hamas and win this war and stop future massacres and kidnappings. So much confusion. So please stick with me until the end to better understand why every Jew and Israel supporter around the world should lift their heads up high, because we are victors even in this confusing reality. It's all about looking how far we've come. Yes, we the Jewish people have overcome 3,000 plus years of exile, persecution, and attempts at annihilation. Every year at the holiday of Passover, Jews say, in every generation they rise against us to destroy us, but the Holy One, blessed be He, saves us. This isn't just an ancient saying. This is our reality in every generation. Just 80 years ago, we faced the unimaginable horror of the Holocaust, nearly annihilated as a people by the Nazis. Today, we the Jewish people stand as a sovereign nation in our ancestral homeland. We are bigger, stronger, and more connected to our Jewish identity as a nation than ever before. Look at where we are. We have become a regional superpower. We've decimated Hamas, Hezbollah, weakened Iran, and neutered Iran's influence across the region. Our geostrategic position today is stronger than it was before October 7th, 2023, despite the heavy price we paid then and have paid in this war. Think back to October 8th, 2023. Remember the fear and the doubt we all had about the future of Israel? We had just experienced a horrible massacre. Our IDF was not able to defend our borders and save our own citizens. Many thought we couldn't send troops into Gaza to fight Hamas because we would be massacred by Hamas terrorists in urban warfare. And everyone was worried about the thousands of missiles that would be shot at us every single day by Iran and its proxies all across the Middle East, especially Hezbollah and Lebanon. And yet, here we are today, the Jewish state of Israel, 15 months later into this war that we didn't start, standing tall, stronger than ever. And we have achieved this state even though Western powers have worked against us throughout this war, including our allies. They've pressured us to stop even as we fight the most justified war against Islamo-Nazi evil that threatens not only Israel but the entire freedom-loving world. We've achieved this even though we have misguided senior IDF and intelligence officers who still fail to understand the nature of our enemies, holding us back from achieving true victory and total victory. We are at this state even though we have a politicized justice system that has endangered our country for decades, preventing our IDF from taking decisive actions to protect our citizens militarily. And this is nothing new. Just think back to former Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin's decision back in the early 1990s. He stated that he publicly agreed to the disastrous Oslo peace accords and to creating the Palestinian Authority to supposedly fight Hamas instead of us, without having to be stopped by a Supreme Court and left-wing organizations like B'Tselem that was stopping him from being able to protect Israelis. That was part of Rabin's logic, because our own Supreme Court was stopping us from being able to end the terror against us. And finally, we have achieved this state despite a continued Western blindness to evil. Western leaders and journalists around the world continue to treat nations like Qatar and Egypt, both complicit in Hamas's terror, as neutral mediators while forcing Israel into concessions that endanger our lives and ignoring the evil of Hamas and Iran? Take a moment and internalize how unbelievable it is that we are where we are today, 15 months after the horrific invasion, massacre, and mass kidnapping on October 7th, 2023, despite all of these very challenging realities. As Jews worldwide recently celebrated the holiday of Hanukkah, remember this, we celebrate the Hanukkah holiday for 8 days, even though the battles of the Maccabees against the Syrian Greeks lasted nearly 30 years. Yes, it was a close to 30-year war. The Maccabees had victories as well as losses and tactical pullbacks. It wasn't a straightforward victorious war in 8 days. It was long, with ups and downs, and they never gave up. And in the end, the Maccabees won, liberated our country, gained sovereignty, and liberated the temple as well. Similarly today, this isn't just the Gaza war of 2023, 24, 25. We are in the 76th year of our War of Independence, which began in 1948. Each stage of our enemies just changed tactics and names. But it is the same war against a Muslim ideology that cannot accept the Jews being back sovereign in our ancestral homeland. It's against their religion. This horrible ceasefire is a temporary pullback, but we will continue and win the war, while hopefully being able to save as many or all of our hostages in the meantime. I want you to truly internalize the long game we are playing. We will win. Total victory of the Jewish people back as sovereign in our ancestral biblical homeland is inevitable. All of it. The Jewish people, we are resilient. We've survived and thrived for millennia against impossible odds, thanks to God above, defying all logic. The war today isn't over, and we still might have some other setbacks. But do not lose sight of the big picture. We will have total victory. The spirit of the Maccabees and the courage and resilience of the Jewish people today guarantee it. It's only a matter of time. So please, with all the confusion, strengthen your faith in God above. Do not place your faith in any people, no matter what leaders, Netanyahu, Trump, Biden, no leaders. Only in God above place your faith. We got this. It's up to us. Listening to the truth, sharing the truth, strengthen your identities and your values of morality based on the Torah, based on the Bible. We got this. Am Yisrael Chai. If you are not yet a subscriber to our daily Pulse of Israel videos with a belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect truth about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world, what are you waiting for? Go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. and we're a donor-based operation. We need your support every day. Our videos only get seen because we have donations from people like you, and we are so thankful for your support. We're heavily censored and shadow banned across all social media platforms. It's thanks to donations that we're able to use that money in order to get our videos seen, and we want to reach more people. Hence, we need more and bigger donations, but any donation is very, very much appreciated. So thank you. Signing off for another episode of Pulse of Israel here in our eternal and ancestral homeland, the land of Israel, in our beautiful, ancestral, biblical, and indivisible capital, Jerusalem, since King David's time. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.